Hello and welcome back. As a lot of you know, I love bread. I eat it almost every day. Actually, there's no almost. I do, in fact, eat it every day. And as you all may know, I am in a very steady and secure long-term relationship with my current toaster, the original $300 BALMUDA toaster. We're going on 4 years strong now, and it's been nothing short of amazing. You've seen him in many of my videos. He's a critical part of my everyday routine. But, confession, in this past month, I've moved on to one bigger and better thing. Its cousin, the BALMUDA Toaster Pro, which is the newer and more expensive version of the original BALMUDA toaster. I couldn't help it. I'm sorry, I got curious. I needed to know what was so good about it. So today I'll be talking about how this new relationship has been. We spent a lot of time together these past 30 days, like a lot of time. Jokes aside, I'm sure many of you are also just as curious. What's different about it? Is it worth it? So let's talk about it. I do want to say real quick though that thanks to all of you, I am actually partnering with BALMUDA officially this time to do a full review of this Toaster Pro, but I did accept on the condition that I get to be 100% honest with my review. You know I would have done this anyways. Trust me, I take this very seriously. I take bread very seriously. Now, before we do a deep dive though, on the rare occasion that you have not heard me ramble on about how much I love the original BALMUDA toaster, what I've always loved about this toaster is just how precise its heat control is. It comes with several different modes. There's like 2 toast modes, croissant mode, pizza mode, oven mode, but more than anything, it is known for its signature steam technology. And how that works is basically this little bit of water I'm adding in here that creates this burst of steam that helps maintain, you know, this soft, fluffy texture of the bread, also locks in the flavor, gives it a nice crisp on the outside, and that's how I get this perfect slice of toast every single time. Like genuinely, and I'm saying this after 4 years of using it, the toast you make with this is so good, you can just eat it straight. No spreads needed. It is also why it's so good with resuscitating stale bread. So anything from baguettes to croissants. If you want a full review of the original version, I highly recommend going to check this video out on the old About to Eat channel, so you get a nice little baseline. Now going on to the BALMUDA Toaster Pro, it comes with all these like shiny embellishments. It just looks a little snazzier, but it also still uses the same steam technology. So there's still a lot of similarities. The little sounds it makes are the same. The size of it is actually also still the same, but this new version comes with 2 new updated modes and also this completely new Salamander grill mode, which I'll talk about in just a second. So first, about these 2 new updated modes. Instead of the old sandwich bread mode, we now have Shokupan mode. And instead of artisan bread mode, we now have golden toast mode. And the main difference here is that while they're both really good at toasting sliced bread, I realized that the Shokupan mode is a little gentler with the heat, where it warms the bread at a slightly lower temperature throughout, compared to in golden toast mode, where there is just like a higher temperature throughout. So it ends up giving the toast like a very pronounced golden brown. So the intention of Shokupan mode is that it's better for something softer, fluffier, you know, like a milk bread, which would benefit from a lighter toast, versus golden toast mode, it's better suited for something like a sourdough slice or bagel, something that's better served with like a nicer crust. So basically, to test this out, I had this slice of milk bread. I toasted for 3 minutes in both the Shokupan and the golden toast mode, and you can very clearly see how much browner the golden toast mode makes the bread. Then I did the same thing with the sourdough slice here, 3.5 minutes in both modes, and you can see how the golden toast mode gives it like a much darker crust. Remember how I was saying how precise you can get with the heat control in this toaster? This is what I'm talking about. I feel like the Toaster Pro version like really gets nerdy with it even more so, which kind of brings us to the new Salamander grill mode. It sounds very fancy, and it kind of is. This new mode essentially tries to mimic the controlled power of a blowtorch. So it releases this very intense top-down blast of heat. So in my previous video, I mentioned how the pizza mode setting kind of acts like a broiler in this sense, where it also has, focus on top-down heat while it's toasting the bread throughout. This version is kind of like that, but on steroids. Supposedly ideal for anything that requires high temperature finishing. So of course, once again, I did some experimenting. The first thing I tried to make was honestly just some cheese on toast. I just wanted to see how well the cheese would bubble and brown, and bubble and brown it did. And because the heat is really just focused more on the top, the bread itself was actually still very, very soft and fluffy. So I kind of got the ooey gooey cheese and then the soft fluffy bread. And then I also tried to toast this very thick slice of milk bread with butter spread on top, a little bit of sugar sprinkled on as well. I toasted this on golden toast mode and then just did 30 seconds of Salamander grill mode, and again I got that nice crisp on top. But the bread, you can see as I'm pulling this, it's still so soft and fluffy. It is kind of crazy actually. This was so good. So confirmed, you can totally use it for bread, but I feel like I actually ended up using this for a lot of things outside of bread. I make a lot of pasta at home, so very naturally I ended up using this for a lot of pasta bakes, just like that last bit of finishing, the perfect melted cheesy goodness. Really, it just got me thinking, what else would I try to make if I had a blowtorch? And the first thing that came to mind was actually some marshmallows. I really just wanted to see if it would, give it that nice golden brown and make it soft and gooey on the inside. And I am very pleased to say that this, in fact, does deliver. Oh my gosh, it's perfect. And then so because this worked so well, I was like, okay, can I take this another step further and try to make like a s'mores dip situation? So, a blanket of marshmallows at the bottom, a bit of chocolate. This was also fantastic, even though I did give it another minute in oven mode as well. Another classic example was some creme brulee. I just wanted to see if I could get that nice golden crust on top. This was honestly super satisfying to watch come together to get that nice crack. I honestly feel like I got a little carried away with this melting sugar situation. I then just tried bruleeing everything else, like what was supposed to be a bruleed grapefruit, but it turned out to be an orange. So some bruleed orange, also some bruleed bananas. This one turned out so good. It's kind of like a shortcut banana Foster, just like sugar on banana, caramelized with like a scoop of ice cream and granola. The bananas were warm and tender. This one was a winner for me. But going back to some savory stuff though, I did also try to sear some salmon in here because, the seared salmon sushi, you always see the chefs kind of blowtorch the salmon. So I wanted to give this a try as well, except I feel like this time it didn't work as well as I hoped it would. I think the heat was actually a little too even, so the salmon ended up being too evenly cooked on top for my liking. I did my first try at 2 minutes, which was way too much. 1 minute, the texture was better. I feel like maybe 30 seconds is the perfect time. A very surprising contender for me though were these bell peppers. I really just wanted to see if it would give me a nice char. I let them cook a little bit first in oven mode, 350 Fahrenheit, before finishing it off in the Salamander grill mode. And this actually worked so well. You can see the nice color that's developed on top of there. This was just so good, honestly, enjoyed with a little bit of flaky salt. Perfectly tender, sweet, nice little bit of smokiness. I will say though that it did make me a little bit overconfident because then I tried toasting these Korean peppers and these ended up popping in the toaster oven. Kind of scared me a little, so proceed with caution. please. Good thing at least that the toaster's still very easy to clean. Just taking out all these attachments like the crumb tray at the bottom and the baking tray up top. Usually I just go in really with like a damp towel and just like gently dab the sides, and that's it. So another thing I actually wanted to talk about is the oven mode, which same as the one before, it comes with 3 different temperature modes, 350, 400, and 450. So in my previous video, one of the weaknesses I pointed out about the toaster oven is that it's not as strong as the convection oven in some tests. So I just wanted to put these to the test again in this newer version. I do want to call out really quick though that this newer version does not come with a tray like the older model did. I'm not sure why, but I have my usual little baking trays that fit right in the toaster, so that's what I'm using for these tests. So same cooking time, same temperature, but you can see how the toaster oven version actually comes out a lot darker this time and actually crispier throughout. It almost had these like brown butter notes. So compared to before, it almost feels just like stronger heat throughout. Personally, I still prefer the convection oven version, but I wonder if this is a case where we have to kind of tweak the cook time a little bit because of the more condensed size of the toaster oven. Then we have this bake from frozen croissant. So last time the pan au chocolat I baked came out a bit hard and tough. It didn't rise properly. But this time, I actually feel like it's almost comparable to the version in the convection oven. It's a little bit burnt on the top because the toaster does have a height limit and this croissant rose quite a bit. But I would almost argue that the more compact size of the toaster oven this time actually benefited the dough. I feel like I've rambled on enough about kind of the differences between the old and the new. Let me just show you everything else I've made in the Toaster Pro these past 30 days. There's a lot of reheating breads and pastries, of course, both like fresh and frozen, whether it's like an apple cider donut or this like old day-old brioche babka that's been sitting in my fridge, chocolate chip cookies, even breadsticks. I feel like this is the BALMUDA toaster's biggest strength. The resuscitating of old bread is just something that it does so much better than any other method I've tried. It just makes it taste like it came fresh out of the oven. One of my top favorites will always be reheating a croissant in here. Literally even these old croissants that I got like 50% off, I pop them in here and they genuinely just taste like they just baked them fresh. And this is something that I feel like the Pro version and the original version does equally as well. I did not reheat nuggets this time, but I did try to bake them from frozen. So these took about 30 minutes. And I guess the one thing I will say is that the timer does max out at 15 minutes. So I did have to kind of monitor it and, you know, turn it twice and make sure that it's cooking properly. But the nuggets came out great. I did give it like another minute in the Salamander grill mode because I wanted that crunch. I also tried like experimental things like these kale chips where I kind of used pastry mode as like a dehydrator, and I'm kind of amazed at how well these turned out. Similar idea with these croutons that I had to first resuscitate my stale baguette, then cut it up into these smaller bites, and then toasted it on pastry mode for a little bit before kind of blasting it on high heat. And this came in really handy for my salad the other day. But honestly, bread aside, I probably use this toaster the most for just like melting cheesy things. Again, my pasta bakes, of course, some cheesy toast, or, you know, just like some cheese on chips sometimes. But you know, I will say, having spent a couple years now with the BALMUDA toaster ovens, there are all these modes here to guide you, but it really kind of depends on you to pick out which one you want to use to cater to your preferences. You know, do you want it more crispy? Do you want it more caramelized? Or do you want it like a little more steamed? You know, being able to play around with the settings. I think that's probably what I've always loved about it. But so, to answer the question of is it worth it? The TLDR version of this video is that the BALMUDA Toaster Pro is much stronger overall, literally 2 with the heat source. I want to stress that I am by no means saying that the original toaster oven is not good enough. It is plenty good enough. It has brought me much joy these past 4 years, but with the Toaster Pro, I get all of that joy still and a little more. I almost think of the Toaster Pro as like the next Pokemon evolution. It's basically the Charmeleon to the Charmander, but like a Charmeleon with some of Charizard's power. You don't have to evolve, but do you benefit from the additional power and versatility? Absolutely. I think the original toaster is perfect for if you love bread, if you eat bread a lot, but if you like to enjoy different varieties of bread and you like to switch things up a bit and try to make more things with your toaster oven, then the Toaster Pro is worth it. So there it is, my conclusive review of the new BALMUDA Toaster Pro. Try to be as comprehensive as possible, but if you have any questions about it, let me know in the comments below. I will do my best to answer it all. Don't worry, you will be seeing this Toaster Pro featured very heavily from now on this channel. And as always, if you like this video, remember to like and subscribe. Hope you enjoyed, eat lots of bread, and I will see you in the next one.